What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. Epic moments from the anime brought to life in cards. Sometimes that can sell a set pretty well, and I'm wondering if these will be the imports for Ghosts from the Past 2022. I have not read any effects, so I'm excited to do so. And if you're seeing GM era, again, it goes through all the animes except sevens, rip sevens. One day you'll get representation in card form, I'm sure, somehow. But let's go ahead and get into the history archives, which very well could replace Selection 9 for Ghosts from the Past. And I would imagine the Agent Structure deck will get chopped up in there too, but that's all speculation. Soul Energy Max, which Konami actually worked with Kotobukiya, and they released a figure variant of Obelisk with the red art of him glowing. We have a normal trap that you can use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. If you control Obelisk the Tormentor, whose original attribute is Divine. That's very specific wording. Are we going to get cards treated as Obelisk later, or are they just future-proofing? You can tribute 2 face-up monsters, except that Obelisk the Tormentor, destroy as many monsters your opponent currently controls as possible, and inflict 4,000 damage. Wow, talk about a cheap shot OTK-like move. This is a trap as well, so you're able to tribute 2 monsters besides Obelisk should you have them, have access to them. So you have to have Obelisk and 2 monsters out with the trap to set up. That is a lot to ask still, even in modern Yu-Gi-Oh! With the resources, like the Numeron engine deck that I play, you're ending on Obelisk with nothing else out with him. But yeah, a tribute as well is the wording. Bit problematic. But you destroy as many monsters they control and do 4,000. During the main phase or battle phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Obelisk the Tormentor from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Then immediately after this resolves, you can normal summon 1 Obelisk the Tormentor face up. I suppose there's no limits on this card. You can Foolish Burial Goods that in your Obelisk deck. You 1 for 1, you get the search. You also get an additional tribute by a trap effect. Not the worst card to Foolish Burial Goods in 1 for 1 in a deck able to search Obelisk out. That's kind of cool, and the wording also leads me to believe there's future potential for support. Not a terrible card, but not like gonna suddenly bring it to the forefront of the metagame, most likely. Then we have, it looks like Blue Eye stuff with a nice Blue Eyes reprint in there with Alternative, which we finally got outside of the movie pack. Evolution Result Burst, normal spell card. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn after this resolves, except with spell effects. Also add an Overload Fusion. Overload Fusion Searcher from the deck to the hand. Also the maximum number of attacks per battle phase this turn of any monster fusion summoned using 6 or more materials with Overload Fusion this turn is equal to the number of materials used for summon. How interesting. Obviously, you can use this in different ways, shapes, and forms than just the Chimera Tech Overdragon that's going to be under here. So they tie the Obelisk and Blue Eyes together for Kaiba. Here we've got 2 Zane cards. Okay, what is next? We have the Great Soul. Oh, Jack Atlas. Are we going rival protagonist here? Right now, it's all rivals, yes? Zane for Judai. We've got Kaiba for Yugi. And that's Jaden. And now we have Jack Atlas for Yusei. So we're again going ace rival protagonist. This is how we got like Dragoon and stuff before, but now it seems like support-esque instead of monsters. The Great Soul, a normal trap. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn. If a dragon synchro monster is on the field, special summon up to 2 resonator monsters and or level 1 dragon monsters from the deck. That's pretty good for a trap card. When a monster effect is activated, if you control a level 10 or higher dark dragon synchro monster, you can banish this card from your graveyard, negate the effect, and if you do, synchro monster, okay, 1 synchro monster you control gains 2,000 attack. I thought it was going to say you could synchro summon. I started stumbling. I was like, oh my gosh, freaking out. But still pretty darn good overall. If any monster effect is activated, so this is a trap in the graveyard, it'll work during either player's turn because it doesn't have a wording limiting it from it. And it also gives you a boost. Definitely cool for the resource game and the back and forth game. Let me know how you feel about that, Jack Atlas fans. I know you're more build-a-board workshop-y, but will you be able to incorporate this into your deck? I feel like you still want to pop off turn 1 and build your board, but an interesting trap nonetheless. We've got Dragon King's Legend. happened. And it looks like 2, is that Galaxy versus... Is that the Numeron Dragon guy? Alright, we got the Quick Play spell. Again, I haven't watched through Zexal. Fake fan here for the number guys, but I still like number collecting. You can only use the first effect among the first and second cards with this card's name per turn and only once that turn. So you have to pick and choose which effect you're using each turn, and it's a quick play. Target one dragon monster you control. Its current attacks becomes doubled until the end of this turn. Then if your opponent controls a dragon monster, the activation of the targeted monster's effects cannot be negated. So it gets even stronger if you're in a dragon versus dragon matchup. Just, that's kind of funny, which goes with the scene, right? But any dragon monster can get a double attack. That's huge. That's actually big for attack modifications in Yu-Gi-Oh! During your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Special summon one of your Dragon Xyz monsters that is banished or in your graveyard in defense. So that won't work with Link monsters, specifically Xyz and... No, Xyz only, yeah. One of your Dragon Xyz monsters. Alright, reading is hard, so is comprehension. And there's Galaxy to go with that. So yeah, the rivals seem to be it. And now we go into the Pendulum era. We've got the Wonders of Nature, Graceful Song Under a Frosty Moon, the Equip spell. You can only use the first and second effects of this card once per turn. Special summon one level 4 or lower Fairy, Spellcaster, Winged Beast, or Beast Warrior monster from your hand. I was about to expect a deck. I was like, what's happening here? And if you do equip with this card, then you can return all dragon monsters on the field to the hand. So it's like an anti-dragon card. That's interesting after the dragon card. During the end phase, if this card is in your graveyard because it was sent there from the spell and trap zone while face up this turn, add a polymerization spell, one fusion spell, or one fusion parasite from your deck to your hand. Yeah, let's just search out the broken spells. Burn Anaconda. Oh my gosh. They just keep doing it, don't they? How interesting. But it's specifically during the end phase, so it's not like you're popping off with it that turn, unless it's like a super polymerization and you're using it to end phase wipe a board. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the greatest searcher effect kind of thing, because it's an extender that costs a card to do before it self-replaces later. Again, slow and fair for a lot of these cards, I feel like, is the theme. Ooh, we do have more. Prisoners of Destiny, but that's not Destiny Heroes. It looks like we have Borreload versus the good old school Code Talker. I almost said Access Code Talker out of habit. Continuous Trap, you can only activate one of this card's name per turn. Once per chain, if a Link 4 monster is Link summoned, you can place one counter on this card, max 3. Then you can apply this effect based on the number of counters on this card. You declare one card name, and if you do, the effects of that card with the declared original card name are negated for the rest of the turn. With just one counter? That's pretty nice, and it's continuous, and it's once per chain. Special summon one level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard. This is so interesting to me. What's weird about the overall wording, you can only activate one card with this card's name per turn, doesn't say effect, is what I'm digesting. And then once per chain, if it's summoned, you get a counter. Then you can apply the effects based on the number of counters. Like, where's the limitation in that wording? I'm not too sure. Like, is it only activate one card / effect? Or can you have this face up and use it multiple times? Surely it's only once per turn, right? Special summon one level 4 or lower monster from the graveyard. Send this card to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon a Link 4 monster from the extra deck. Wow. So if you Link 4 3 times, you get a free Link 4. Buy 3, get 1 free on summoning, am I right? But that's a lot to ask. The first effect, though, declare a card name, and if you do, the effects of the card with the name are negated. Any card, spell, trap, monster. That's pretty darn good, but you have to get this trap face up first and then Link 4 with it, which Masquerena does with the greatest of ease. I kind of dig that. That'll end up on some kind of end board, but will it be competitive enough versus Floodgates to activation with no requirement of, like, popping off with a Masquerena? Very interesting to see. Let me know what you guys think of the new rival cards. I would assume all of these are. Definitely not the same as the boss monsters, F-Zero, Ace, rival protagonist cards, but Going with the theming that these may all end up in one pack or be split up across time as well is interesting, because the Ace Rival Protagonist cards got chopped up into tons of different products where we were waiting for Heat Soul for how long? I do wonder where these will end up, if this will be Ghosts from the Past or if these will be split up over time as well. I feel like they're less prone to be split up over time and used to sell product. They don't seem like cards made to do that. Thanks for watching today's video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed the conversation. And your guess is as good as mine where this will end up. But they need something to import for Ghosts from the Past. We'll see what that ends up being.